Hello. Okay, just now I ran out of time, so just want to address some of the questions that has been submitted to Pigeonhole. Okay, so how does Kaizen compare to other local platforms? Firstly, as you can see, our approach, it's not just about being low code. There is collaboration involved in the process, which is something I don't see in any other platforms. And there's code generation that actually make sure that you can still continue on if you decide to not to continue with the tool. And of course, the larger part is actually the compliance part. Of course, I'm not trying to say that other platforms are not compliant with your IMA requirements, but it's about the commitment that we give as a company. Being a local company working in the government for over 20 years, it's a commitment that we give to you to ensure that new changes or whatever involvement in policies that you have, we're committed to actually ensuring that the platform actually complies with your new requirements. Yeah. So I hope that gives you a good answer. And the other one I have is how does it ensure continuous compliance? I think this is more or less the same answer. So there are a few ways to be compliant with your IMA requirements. Of course, Kaizen by itself needs to be secure. So we actually conduct security audits and testing. In fact, every release will have to undergo our CI/CD, internal CI/CD pipelines, and has to pass all the thresholds before we even release it. That's one. And we also do engage third-party auditing on the Kaizen tool software itself. And in terms of how to ensure your system comply with your requirement, for example, your password policies, your zero trust and all this. So we also built in the measures and the controls to ensure that whatever application that we deliver using Kaizen, that you roll out to your environment is also compliant with the government standards and policies. Yeah, so there's these two aspects we will cover. That means we cover ourselves and we cover you, in short. Yeah. So has Kaizen been deployed in any agency? One of the favorite questions that I always hear, even in our tender submissions and all this. So, so Kaizen has just been launched earlier this year. For those who have been with us in the last seminar, it was launched at that time. So at this moment, we are working with various government agencies in various stages of engagement with various agencies to talk about deploying Kaizen. For some of them is a POC pilot, and some are actually actual systems, but they have a certain timeline. Like for example, next year they're going to throw a tender. So we are in constant engagement with them. For overseas, we actually have deployed, have one project with the government, with Fiji government, to actually also deploy Kaizen. But although it appears like Kaizen has not been deployed to any agencies, but I would say that as Topan Acquire as a company, this is not the first such platform that we have launched. Over the years, those of you who have worked with us, you will know that we have the last flagship product that we have was the Acquire Government Platform, which we have developed and operated over the years. So we are not new to building platforms that are compliant for the government. So that's what I can say. So, and we are committed to make it work for you. So that's my answer. Yeah, thank you.
I think, thanks, Aaron. There's a couple more questions related to Gen AI. Can I invite Ernie to come on stage to provide his insights? The question is about, talk to your documentation solution. Are there any tagging or actions needed to be done on the source document for the AI tool to be able to interpret and search? what additional needs to be done? Is it out of the box?
Maybe can flash, are you able to flash that screen, the RAG screen? Okay, so while he's looking out the screen, so they can do it in two ways. The first way is out of the box. Yes, there are actually services that, not only cloud, even internal custom service, there are actually programs that you can use, okay, to do out of the box kind of ragging. Okay, so you can do out of the box. The thing is that out of box, the result may not be optimal. Okay, you may sometimes you hit and miss. So you do the full process actually goes through a number of steps, and each of these steps there are ways to tune it, or you can try to use different strategy. So first, all your documents, right, you have to go through collation. All right, collation means you actually not really cleansing. Sometimes cleansing is required, but you have to collate them. Then you do some data science. The best effect, you do some data science to analyze for certain type of document, right? What's the best way to process it? So one of the first things you need to do is something called chunking. You need to chop it up into pieces. For the chunking process is done for two reasons. One is when you do a search, later during the search, right, you actually can select out the relevant chunks more quickly. If you don't chunk, then it's an entire document, right? So you do it chunking, and then so that the AI engine can go through a search and select out the more relevant pieces of document to feed into the LLM. Because if you feed too much information into the LLM, right, you may confuse it, right? So that what you want to do is to go precisely the context, pull out the documents that's precisely very closely related to the prompt. So that's what you want to do. So the chunking process, if you do by vanilla, right, there are some programs that do recursive chunking. You just take it, then they chunk. Okay, maybe by token, every 1,000 token I chunk. Or they look at the document, they find the title, and then so this is automated. So there are other ways to do chunking, like semantic chunking, okay, based on the relationship of between para. So there's a lot of fine-tuning that can be done here. There's fine-tuning can be done here, data science, and then you do embedding. So embedding is, let's say if you are doing, I'm going to move, forward. So let's say if you're doing a vector model, right, the information that, the chunks that you've created, right, you will use another LLM called embedding model. So there's two types, generation model. GPT is pre-trained transformer, right? It's a generation model. But there are also embedding model, which is also an LLM, but it's used for embedding. So embedding means what? You convert a chunk of text into a vector, okay, in a vector. So here is an example of a 3D vector. So information that is embedded, those that are related will be put closely together, right? So for example, let's say you embed something called a cat. The vector may be here. Then you embed something, a car. So a cat is very far away from a car, right? So maybe it's here. Then you embed kitten. Kitten is near the cat, so you expect the vector to be around here as well, right? So that is what you do. You take all information, and then once embed, right, you can see that the information are inside. That's why it's called embed. It's stuck inside the database. So here is a 3-dimensional only. In the actual LLM, the number of dimensions could be hundreds or thousands of dimensions. Because a vector is just a list of numbers, right? So after you do embedding, when you do the search, they use this thing called cosine similarity or approximate neighbor. So if the angle between the two vectors is very close and the vector is very near to each other, that means it's very close. So when you do a prompt query, right, they will go and take your prompt, they will embed your prompt to find the vector, where is it? Then after that, they'll find your vector, they'll fetch those vectors that are nearby your prompt back. And then they'll translate this into the documents, map back to documents. Then after that, they take your documents and feed it to the LLM. So this process, if you're able to fine-tune it very, very precisely, right, then your results will be very good. Then the next database, next page, graph database. So to do a graph database, it's the same thing. You use the LLM, okay, once you have a chunk, right? You use the LLM to extract the ER, the entity relationship diagram, that this concept is related to this. The LLM can actually tell you this. Then after that, you make another program, you call a program to build the graph. Okay, so once you build the graph, right, whenever you do a query, right, the rec system will use your prompt, you embed and build into a node. You become a node in the graph. You go and search for your node, and then you search for all those, let's say your node is here, right? Then you go and retrieve all the nodes that are next to you, because these are all related. Then these whole things will feed in the LLM, and then the LLM will try to figure out, do inference to give you the reply, right? So to answer the question, right, there are things, although you can do it automatically, although you can do it, but the results will be better quality if you do it, you fine-tune each of the steps. Even after you have done it, right, when you do the prompt the time, so this is the embedding pipeline into the database. After you have done this, when you do the prompt the time, when you do the search, there's also processing, there's ways you can do it. For example, based on the prompt, right, you can do prompt expansion. Use another LLM from your prompt is very brief, so you try to expand it into more things, and then use that to do the search. Then after you got a prompt, when you do a prompt embedding and do a search, whatever comes out, right, you can refine it. So the search come out maybe you like, 45 chunks. So you may be able to go through and then select out the 10 chunks that are most relevant. Then you fit in the LLM. Yeah. So the answer to the question is this. There are two ways. One is the automated way, codeless or code-free. Okay. AWS, Google, I'm not sure about Azure. They all have services that can allow you to do this. But the results may vary because it's just blindly do the chunking, blind fetching. Then the second way is you do it like you're building an application. Okay, you go and analyze all the steps, try out. Even the database, you can try, is this database, does it work well? If not, then another database. Then the model also you can select. There are so many models. Okay, there can be like the Amazon model garden, I saw like 30, 40 models. Google also the same. So you can test out which model works. Or maybe you can do model selection based on the query, certain type of query, you use this model. Okay? If it's another coding, you use another model. So many ways to tweak this whole document retrieval system. And then after that, you can do evaluation. So the short way and the long way. The long way would be if you invest a lot of effort and a lot of UAT into it, then you can get a better result. Okay? So that's the answer to your question.
Wow, that's a very comprehensive answer. Okay, one more question. One more question before you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so can Gen AI be deployed in GCC?
Yes. GCC already has AWS, Bedrock, right? Bedrock and Kendra and those services. So actually, it's already in GCC. So if you build the services using AWS, all these things, then your application, if you build in Kaizen can just call the AWS AI service, all right? So it's already there. So deploying the AI on the cloud has a lot of advantages. First of all, the compute, it's a cloud-based. If you build a standalone, you must understand this. Although the gap is closing, the size of the model matters, right? If you're using so ChatGPT, for example, 170 billion neurons. Then the one we're trying out our office is Mistral 7B, Llama 3 7B. It's 7 billion neurons only. 7 billion versus 107 billion, there is the difference. Although when we try our office, it seems to be quite close. The results are still good. Okay, but I think the power of the inference may be different. So on the cloud, you have this advantage of using a full-fledged model. Like Llama 3, they say the latest model, 405 billion neurons. Crazy, you know. You need 800 gig of GPU RAM just to load in the memory. But in the cloud, you can do that, okay? But you also got to watch out the compute cost, one run. Okay, so yes, you can actually in GCC it is already available, okay, to deploy Gen AI. Besides AWS, I think GovTech also have. GovTech also got models in GCC so you can actually make use of and GovTech can have one model. It has the code-free model. Okay, I think it's called AI bots. There are people using it already. Okay, AI bots. You load in all your documents, then you build a chatbot, then you Okay, or they also have one that you can customize. So GovTech, AWS. So it's available. So if you're using Kaizen, you just have to, the Kaizen just make a call to either the GovTech model, AWS model, and then you have the service ready. All right?
Okay, thank you, Ernie.